they're all just hot today.
That's the other downside too.
So it doesn't.
Yeah, one of them already moved to
It'll be more fun
Houston.
that way.
He decided to go out and get a job. Keeps saying he's gonna do it.
Alright. Used to be I'm a little out of it tonight.
But now I
So
don't know
Mike's here to
what
keep
it
me in
is.
check. Oh, at the end of the night, I need to talk to you about the next few months, some calendaring.
Okay.
That's all right.
Debbie said she talked to you about that book.
Yes, she did. Okay, thank you. Yep. Yep, I'm looking for volunteers for next week now.
I'm gonna be gone.
6 o'clock. You'll be here. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Holbrook Regular City Council meeting for June 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We do have a few people missing tonight. They are all excused, but we do have Councilwoman Pacheco, Councilwoman Tafoya, and Vice Mayor Nielsen with us tonight, along with staff Randy Sullivan and Lisa Hunt. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilwoman Pacheco, followed by an invocation by Vice Mayor Nielsen. If you could please stand for the pledge, we'd appreciate it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're so grateful to be gathered here. Please bless us with thy spirit as we contemplate the affairs of the city of Holbrook. Bless us that we can do the most good for the most people, that we forget no one, that we recognize those that are in need. We ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Item number 4, consent agenda. This is for the June 11th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look them over. Does anybody have any questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Councilwoman Pacheco seconded. So, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Item number 5, call to the public for non-agenda items.
There are none.
Item number 6, call to the public for agenda items.
There are none.
Now, my favorite part of the night, a big thank you. So, tonight we want to recognize the Charter Review Committee, our community committee. I wrote a little statement. I'll read it with my glasses because I'm getting old. So, on behalf of the Holbrook City Council, I want to extend our deepest thanks and appreciation to the members of the Charter Review Committee. This was no small task. The charter hadn't been reviewed in many years, and we knew going into this process that it would take time, energy, and a great deal of patience to go through it thoroughly. What they accomplished was not only long overdue, it was also critical to ensuring our city's foundation remains strong, relevant, and reflective of the needs of our residents today. They pored over every inch of the charter, sat through long meetings, asked tough questions, and made thoughtful recommendations. And they did it all with integrity, collaboration, and a shared commitment to what's best for Holbrook. This process was long and at times arduous, but their work was invaluable. Thanks to their efforts, we now have an updated, well, hopefully it'll be an updated charter. It'll go to the election, to the vote of the people, that will serve our city for years to come. They've laid the groundwork for more transparent governance, clearer policies, and stronger accountability. We are incredibly grateful for the time they gave, the insight they offered, and the respect they showed for this important work. It is truly appreciated, not just by the council, but by the entire Holbrook community. So we want to thank them for their service and their dedication. So the members of the Charter Review Committee was Gretchen Herndon, Robin Gonzalez, Richard Peterson, Mark Romo, Kent Darris, Becky Slade, and Peggy Reed. And we have a few of the Charter committees with us tonight, and we would like to just present them with a little token of our appreciation. I'm going to come out front. Terry will come with me in a minute. And,
In a minute?
well, yeah, actually, come on up. So if you guys will come on up, we've got Mark, Richard, and Robin with us tonight. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Stay here though, let me picture, so. Richard, shake your hand here. Thank you. Robin, thank you. Hey, we're gonna get a formal picture. We'll get the council down here too. All of you. So since, just two more of you. Is that okay?
Put this,
Our
we
city,
just
come
go
on
there.
down. Or our city's not having me.
You want us to move up there?
Yeah, let's go up there.
You guys can sit
No.
in the back.
Not yet?
Oh,
We'll
we're
sit
gonna
in
stand,
front.
so,
Is that right?
yeah, you come up with us.
Just don't trip on these cords.
No, Mark, you come on up with
Oh.
us. Yeah.
Okay.
All the way up?
All the way up.
Why don't you guys stand back here and we'll stand
that's
down
how she
here.
got me on the council. so-
Yeah, we're gonna stand down here. No, I think it'd be better if we're all together.
Okay.
So, you either all come up or we'll go down, one or the other. Whatever's good for Sean. Yeah.
I was moving out of the way.
Yeah, a little bit out of the way, so.
How's your restaurant doing?
It's going good.
All right. Come on, we'll get
Busy
the
day.
charter committee right in the middle. You guys
I
in
was
the
gonna
middle.
push you in the middle.
Nice try. You guys in the middle. We're honoring you guys, so. You guys are our stars tonight, so. Our cities. Happy we're here too, so. I didn't tell her we were doing this. Actually, do we just get that chair out of the way? Terry, I'm moving your water.
Aren't you supposed to be for that?
Okay, sorry. Don't do it. What you do. They're trying to find their skinny side, right?
Perfect.
He knows he's gotta take like 20, cause I'm blinking in 19 of them.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
that's why I just take
Honestly,
100 now.
And then Terry also has a little something for each of you guys, so we'll let you guys sit down here. Sorry, we'll just go over here. Oh, make you guys come up and down and all around your chair.
Grab your candy.
Oh, I'm not afraid of candy. Do I look like I'm
You
afraid
can
of
choose
candy?
whichever one you want, regular peanut butter or peanut
Thank you.
M&M.
I appreciate that.
Knowing Terry is really a sweet experience.
That's right. Ooh, sweet, so.
Leave it up to Terry.
Leave it to Terry. Terry does the cute stuff.
Sweets.
Thank you, Terry.
So we'll get Richard, which kind he wants.
Wherever you can.
Regular peanut or M&M?
There's regular peanut, or this is peanut butter ones. Peanut? There you
Can't go
go.
wrong with peanut
Thank
butter.
you so much.
So,
A little fruit cheese in it.
I don't wanna do this. I guess I'll do.
we'll see if the other guys get theirs, cause we might start munching on them. Keep everybody awake, so. But sincerely, we wanna to thank you again. As a reminder, November 4th will be the election. And, Mark, I was showing Robin and, Richard earlier that there's a folder here, but there's online as well. You can look at the resolution, look at all the suggestions that you guys have made, and as a council, we basically took every suggestion you guys made, and with the help of the attorney, it was either put into an ordinance, will be put into an ordinance, or it was put into a charter, ballot measure. So there's, 10 ballot measures that'll be brought to the public, and that's what it'll be. So we appreciate your hard work, like I said, I know it was a lot of work, and we were trying to figure out how long it had been since there was a community, charter review committee. Randy said he'd been here 17 years and he couldn't remember an actual committee that looked through it. So that's how long it's been. And so we sincerely mean it when we say thank you so much for your work on that, so. Does anybody else wanna say anything?
Brian Smithson was the mayor
Brian Smith.
when we did it last.
So it's been a while, so. Anybody else have any comments?
Just a big thank you.
So,
I know it was a lot of work.
so thank you guys for being here tonight, and we'll get you for the next committee. So, all right, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 8, new business. This is resolution 25-07. This is, let me get to the right one. Says every year, the Arizona State Auditor General's Office requires the council to designate a CFO, which will submit the AELR to the state after its audit is done. So I'll read just the header for now. Resolution number 25-07. A resolution of the City of Holbrook, Arizona, Mayor and Common Council. Supposed to be Common Council? Doesn't matter. Cause I know sometimes they give us the right verbiage to use.
I was gonna say on this one, they give us the
Yeah,
verbiage, so.
Not changeable.
We're not changing it, okay. And Common Council designating the Chief Fiscal Officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2026 expenditure limitation report to the Arizona Auditor General. And, if if you look down the second paragraph, it says, whereas the city of Holbrook mayor and council desires to designate Randall L. Sullivan Jr. as the city's chief fiscal officer. Randy's been doing it for the last, I don't know how many years,
17.
17 years, so that's what it is. Does anybody have any questions for, Mr. Sullivan in regard to this? We do this every year. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 25-07.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead to a roll call vote.
Okay, Vice Mayor Nilsson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Tafoya,
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 8, resolution 25-08, the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Holbrook and the Navajo County Library District. Navajo County runs a library district, and this agreement needs to be updated for the continued use of the services provided. So I'll read it by header. Resolution number 25-08, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Holbrook, Navajo County, Arizona, approving the form and authorizing the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Holbrook and the Navajo County Library District. Again, we've had a joint services agreement with them for as long as I've known. Mr. Sullivan, do you want to add anything to?
The basics of this agreement is because they have a library district, we're able to piggyback off of internet services provided by the county. We're able to, they do a book interloan kind of system, so they can loan books between libraries, those kind of things. So it's not all burdened on us to purchase all those books. If other libraries in the county have that book, we can loan it back and forth. So it's just a good collaborative effort between all of the libraries in the county.
Perfect. And there's no financial implications, which is nice. So,
Right.
so along with the resolution was attached the actual agreement. So I hope you had a chance to go through that. But does anybody have any questions or concerns? Hearing none, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 25-08.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We'll go ahead and take it to a roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Nilsson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Tafoya,
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, item number 9, old business. This is discussion on the fiscal year 25-26 strategic budget priorities and alignment with council identified goals. I'll go ahead and read just the background on it. So the council has had several work sessions to discuss the 25-26 budget as well as the 25-26 council priorities. This strategic plan outlines the city's priorities for the next 2 years while also aligning with the budget. This initiative reflects the commitment to the priorities that the council discussed at the February 2nd, 2025 strategic planning work session for fiscal year 25-26. So basically, what Mr. Sullivan's done, we'll give him a little bit of time to go over it too. At that February meeting, we sat down and we figured out what our top 5 priorities were gonna be for the upcoming year. And then as we've been going over the budget over the last few years, a lot of concern with the council is like, great, we've been over here talking priorities and strategic plan, and then over here we're talking budgets. But how do we make sure those priorities we've been talking about are actually implemented throughout the year? And so this plan that Mr. Sullivan, this is just a draft proposal. And mostly tonight, this will be kind of a homework assignment as well, especially since we're missing 3. And Councilwoman Tafoya also expressed interest in getting some feedback from department heads to make sure we know that where their priorities are as far as each department. And then also, coming back, let's research it, things like that, and then turn it into a work session so we can really delve into it a little more. So tonight is kind of more of a presentation on the plan to kind of go over it. Mr. Sullivan, are you good with me turning a little bit over to you to?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So in the future, I would like to get the department heads involved a little bit more. Even during that work session strategic plan, if we took everything that you guys heard, then the department heads are gonna see that same vision, and then they'll be able to work into that same vision as well. That's all part of the leadership we're trying to build here, and working together with you guys and all the way down to the department heads, and then hopefully that goes from the department heads down to everybody. And then that way we have common goals. So I thought it was really important to, we have all these work sessions on the budget and all this stuff. And I really wanted to say, okay, this is why I budgeted this way. I hear you guys' concerns. I hear what you guys want. These are our strategies. Now how are we gonna pay for it? So that's some of these items that I put in the budget. That's why those are inflated, because of, I'm trying to address the budget with this strategic plan. So if you notice with each one of these priorities, I put in there, right underneath the priority, where I'm planning on trying to pay for some of this as we move forward. So that way you guys could keep in mind, that, and then the next time, well, hopefully July 9th, we're gonna be, finalizing the budget, adopting that budget, but you guys will be able to clearly see how we're gonna fund these priorities now, if that makes sense. So a lot of these are gonna be ongoing projects too, in year one. Last year, we launched a community-led cleanup, kind of community, but we worked with the chamber. They did the community cleanup, and then we hired Bread of Life, and city crews got out a day, cleaned up. So we're current, ongoing, those kind of items. But anyways, we kind of threw this together real quick. Beautification and revitalization. Some of that's gonna be coming out of grants. Some of it could be coming out of that line item on the bottom where we just said it was code enforcement and beautification, kind of lumping it all together on that. So we did get a grant this last year on Hopi, so we've come up with some ideas on Hopi to maybe put planters or something like that down Hopi and beautify that. Along with this, and I didn't put this in there as far as, because it's just Main Street, but my vision is it's not only just Main Street. I have a vision of at least one block in too, because everybody driving down the main street, if you turn your head, you're seeing at least one block in. So we're doing a lot of work all the way to Arizona and all the way to First, all the way around Hopi and Navajo to try to get that looking good, because everybody driving through town, they want to see something looking good. So to me, it kind of goes hand in hand with this. We're doing a lot of work on 10th Avenue right now as well, because in my vision, everybody that has, or every time we have an event at the school or the football field or the baseball field, they're driving down 10th Avenue. Well, that road, the curbs buckled up, the sidewalks are horrible. Well, everybody sees that, and I think that's an eyesore, and I would like to see that kind of stuff cleaned up and take pride in that. If somebody from outside comes into town, they're not seeing an eyesore. So we're working heavily on those kind of ideas. So I could do a lot of talking, or we could just keep on going. So that's priority one, unless you guys have any more questions. But that's kind of the vision of what we're trying to do in those pieces.
This is what's gonna happen too, so he's presenting this here, we know, like I already wrote one down that we're thinking about with that beautification, was the APS tree program. That should just be that goal too, to make sure that's done too, we'll add that to here.
Yeah,
So
we can
basically,
add
we're gonna think of things like that too, but what we need to do is, so write these down, that's your homework assignment. Go through these step by step, see what's good, see what we're missing, see what needs to be tweaked.
Okay.
And then we encourage you to go see Mr. Sullivan in the next 2 weeks during that time, so we can present it when we go do it to a work session. It's already a little more up to date at that point.
And some things may seem like it's random, like why are you replacing this random curb? Well, if the curb becomes a tripping hazard or it's a known issue, then that becomes kind of a priority. So like on 6th Avenue, it became a tripping hazard. The concrete was just so worn out. We were thinking about putting a coating over it, but it ended up just being more cost effective to just replace the whole curb. So that may look random, but there was a purpose behind it. And then we also had a couple tripping hazards on Hopi. on some of the radiuses to where they just became an emergency, and then, we had to redo it and make it ADA. So that's why maybe sometimes those look random. During this time of the year, sidewalks will buckle, and those become tripping hazards, so that's why, again, that's why they're just kinda random all over the place, but those become emergencies type situations, and that's why we gotta fix those sooner than later.
Yes, so,
So,
Councilman.
you're talking about the sidewalks, tripping hazards, but what about the lights that are downtown by Gillespie Park where the light post is gone, but you still have this big old yellow thing where the post used to be?
We
I
need
mean,
to-
that's a huge
Yeah, we need to
tripping hazard.
cut those up and get it level.
Can we not bring another light
Well,
from
the
someplace?
problem is they don't make those lights no more, and those are 110, so either we go out and try to get a custom light to make it look like that, or I guess I could say is that we don't know what to do right now with it yet. We could, there are options that we could go get custom lights, but they're gonna cost us way more.
Okay.
Or we could pull them from somewhere else and then get different lights for up on top of the hill, but those are 220 and these are 110 downtown.
So all the way up to the La Quinta are 220?
Those are all 220, so we can't always pull all those down from the top. But like, the one by, Mr. Mestis's, that one just got hit on Monday or Tuesday. That one's 220, so we can pull one up from on top of the hill and bring that down. But then they're gonna be light up top, so we'll have to find a different answer to replace the ones on top.
But do we really need that many lights all the way up Navajo, all the way to the La Quinta?
Well, we have been pulling them from on top, from up there.
Right, so all the
Yeah.
way from the La Quinta, we
Yeah.
could gradually pull some back
Yeah,
from there
yeah.
and not replace those possibly, depending on what the light
Right,
situation.
right.
Cause I mean, there is a lot of lights up Navajo.
Right, yeah.
So-
And even then, if you got the lights on the La Quinta side, then you don't need them on the other side really. But you just wanna make sure there is lighting available for pedestrians walking. But even then, most of the street lights can, cover
Right, but
cover
I
that
even
light.
think every other light would be sufficient.
Mhm.
But if the wattage doesn't work down here compared to what's
Yeah.
up there. But I think it's important that those are replaced or
Yeah.
whatever, especially.
And,
in
and
our
that's why
Park
at
area.
one time we had two by, on, is it Arizona? Two on Arizona by the Catholic Church, and we pulled those and put those down there, and then we bought something different for the Catholic Church. But they had to be completely different because those other ones aren't available, so we worked with the Catholic Church to design those and get those ordered. So as those come up, oh, and we stole two from the old courthouse too, and then had to replace those with something different. So, we're trying to do as much as we can. Sooner or later, we may just have to start buying a different style that maybe looks similar or something until we work on it, but.
But that is a big tripping
Yeah,
hazard
yeah.
right there when those are pulled up and that big old thing is left there.
Thanks. And that's why these are important, because everybody sees different things around town, so. Okay, just quickly, just as a reminder even for the community, with the 5 priorities that were identified at the beginning of the year. Priority 1 was Main Street beautification and revitalization. Priority 2 is street improvements. Priority 3 is the golf course clubhouse renovation. Priority 4. Oh, it's not.
Code enforcement.
Code
It's on-
enforcement. And then priority 5 is parks and trails. So that doesn't mean we're not doing other projects, these are just like, hey, when we have a little extra money, we can put it towards these. And so, we know certain streets and infrastructure is always gonna take priority. But, so, like I said, so go through each of these, I don't know how many of you guys have had a chance to go through them, since Thursday. Start making your notes, start meeting with, city administration to kinda you know, things like this, like, hey, that's part of it, you know, the streets improvement, things like that, the lights.
Yeah.
So if there's a project on there that's important to you, bring it there, and then we'll kinda rehash it out a little more too. Talking to Councilwoman Tafoya, it was nice because it's like, yeah, we do have like 5 or 6 different goals on each of these, but really, it'd be nice to say, out of these 5 goals, what is still the top priority, cause it's still time and money. And so we're gonna even prioritize them off of that, so we will go through there. So does anybody have any questions or concerns about their homework assignment? Any concerns you wanna address right now?
More homework.
Alright, look at that.
Is this a work session for the first meeting in July, or?
So is that when we need to do it then, probably, cause we have to approve the budget that day on July 9th?
July 9th is the night we need to do the final budget and, tax levy.
And like I said, we've already approved the preliminary, which means we can't change that bottom line now. We can still change the inside of it, the budget, and actually, we can be doing that all year long. So every quarter, we'd like to readdress the budget and our strategy, see how we're doing with these goals, cause we do wanna stay up on top of it to make sure, like, we set these goals, let's make sure every quarter we're getting updates on where we're at. So, do you guys wanna do the work session July 9th? Does that work for you?
That's fine.
And just as a heads up, we will be having a 3rd meeting in July, but we'll talk about that during, can you bring that up in your, minutes, or your notes, so. Alright, any other questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 10, summary of current events. This is gonna be our fastest meeting in who knows how long, huh? Don't get used to it. I know we've given you guys a ton of work sessions over the years, the last year. Alright, so for the summary of current events, just wanna take a note too, tonight, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting a movie Under the Stars at the courthouse at dusk. They're showing E.T., so it'll be fun. I know they said there's a few trucks and things like that down there, but if you wanna go support the Chamber tonight, that would be great. Great big shout out to everybody that came and helped today at this food, produce distribution. It was a last minute, ask what happened over the weekend. Supervisor Peslikai reached out to me and said, hey, can the city help us put on, he's like, we've got a big semi truckload of produce. Would like to split half of it with Dilcon and half with Holbrook. Can you do it? So I had reached out to the senior center and also Catholic Charities, and they both looked at those pictures of how many pallets were coming. They're like, we don't have the capacity for that, because they were a lot. I've got pictures we'll be posting later, but anyway, so we did it down at Hunt Park today. I want to thank Councilwoman Tafoya and Councilwoman Church for being there. Councilwoman Tafoya was there all day long, so we appreciate it. But big thank you to Nancy Barella with Catholic Charities, and also the Bread of Life from the mission. They had quite a few volunteers. Also city staff, Frank and Sam were fantastic. There was other staffers too, but Frank and Sam went out of their way to help us go above and beyond on many things. And we had a lot of volunteers, and I was super thankful for it. We had no idea what we were getting into. Nobody did. And it was a lot.
I won't do that again.
She says that, just give her a little nap and she'll be fine. So, it's only been a few hours, so let her recover and then she'll do it again. So, but we probably had, 25 volunteers throughout the day at least, helping, and it took every 25, 30 volunteers, and we had sometimes, quite a few times, just cars lined up, and so we had the volunteers were sorting all the boxes, cause we had just boxes of kale and lettuce and raspberries, and not all the food was good, so we had to sit there and sort them all. And so, cause you know what happens when you have big food trucks, I know sometimes you get 25% waste at least. Our onions, we're not gonna talk about the onions, so.
Can't even compost those either.
Yeah, it was tough. People didn't even want them for their goats or the cow. Apparently they don't like onions, but anyway, but a super big thank you to all these volunteers. I mean, we really couldn't have done it without them. We would have been overwhelmed without them. So, but we do want to thank Alberto Peslikai for thinking of Holbrook, and also Jonathan Nez and La Planta out of California. They're the ones that did the donation and brought them to Holbrook. So big thank you. I texted Nancy Barella, but I didn't hear back from her yet to see how many people we actually served. She was trying to keep a tally of how many, but there was hundreds of people that came through, I would guess. Anyways, next week is the 4th of July, believe it or not. And the Kiwanis Club and the City of Holbrook will be hosting again our annual 4th of July bike parade and family fun games at Hunt Park. You can start decorating your bikes at 8 a.m. Kiwanis is taking the lead on that. And then they do the fun bike parade following the fire truck around Hunt Park. And then at 9 o'clock we have a lot of little kid games. Thanks to Nellis Auctions, we've been buying a lot more games, so we should have more games. so we are looking for more volunteers. Terry will be there helping. But if anybody else wants to come, all right. Also, don't forget next week, of course, the Holbrook Fire Department barbecue, and then the fireworks. They always do a great job. I know personally, my family comes up. This has turned into a family tradition to come watch the Holbrook firework display. Because I have quite a few family members in the valley, but there's nothing like the Holbrook fireworks because you can get up close and things like that. So it's fantastic.
They're not doing pre-sale tickets this year.
No. Oh, good to
Just
know.
so you know that.
No pre-sale tickets. Thank you for that. So, anyways, but we want to pre-thank them because we know that I don't know how they do it all in one day. We think we're tired, but they do that barbecue and then go to the fireworks. So, anyways, that is all I have for tonight. Vice Mayor Nielsen.
You know, it's interesting, my daughter Amy started teaching in the valley, and Bruce Turley that grew up here in Holbrook, his wife was taking this same teacher training, and they're sitting next to each other, and she leans over to my daughter Amy and says, well, what are you doing for the 4th of July? Amy goes, well, I don't know. You know, she's a young adult. And Bruce Turley's wife said, you gotta go to Holbrook. It's the best fireworks there is. And so my daughter Amy's coming back because of Bruce Turley's wife. Anyway, I wanted to acknowledge Tractor Supply on their grand opening and moving. What a spectacular building that is, and what a wonderful addition that is to Holbrook. And I also wanted to thank the city for what they did on the top of 8th Avenue with the striping and signage. It really helps keep bicyclists and walkers safe on that corner. And I wanted to acknowledge the state highway for how they have almost seamlessly started paving Hopi as it goes through Holbrook during the middle of the night so it doesn't interrupt us. What a wonderful thing the state highway is doing for us. And then I was also gonna mention the 4th of July, the fireman's barbecue. What a wonderful thing we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Tafoya.
I went and volunteered out at the golf course last weekend. They had a tournament out there. And so, I went out and helped. Well, I just took money. I didn't golf or anything like that but it was really nice. The golf course has come along, but it's got a long way to go. But, I wanna send out a big kudos and thank you to the Men's Association out there. They've raised a lot of money and done a lot of work on their own out at that golf course. I'm not saying it's at 100%, but it's come a long way and they have really, really, really worked hard. So, if you ever have a chance, just drive out there and look at it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they do care about it. They're working hard on it, and so eventually it'll be back to what it was back in the day. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pacheco.
I think you guys got it all.
Sorry, I know we didn't start it this way next time, right?
No.
So.
I've just noticed that there's been a lot more, you're being able to see a lot of the city workers out and a lot more improvements. Like you are seeing them. They're not just behind the scenes.
All right, thank you. And a quick recap real fast, thanks to Mark Romo. As a reminder, the Holbrook Little League is hosting its first nighttime baseball tournament this week, so that's exciting. I'm sure a lot of the barrels filled though. So Holbrook plays Thursday, so come on out and support them. So, and they just want to thank the city for making that happen. So thank you for that. So, and one more little shameless plug. I do want to thank those that came out to the teen center kickoff for the renovation center. We're hoping to have that ready by September. It's gonna be fun for our teens. And I found out too, Holbrook's teen center is gonna be the first teen center in Navajo County and Coconino County. So neither one of, so it'll be exciting for our teams on that one, so we're happy for that, so. All right, with that, we'll turn the time over to Mr. So.
Just
we're
one
so-
other thing, and
yeah.
that is, we need to thank the Reeds for what a tremendous Little League program we have, from the 4-year-olds clear through the senior Little League. So, thank you to them and that board that has been doing this since 1946 in the days of John Barrows. So, thank you.
Amen.
And I don't know if they still need volunteers. I know it was on Facebook that they need volunteers to help with the scoreboard
Yes.
and books and concessions and whatever.
It just
And I
makes
think-
everything run a little bit more smooth,
Right.
for sure.
And so I had told him could help Thursday and Friday, but he just texted me back and asked if I could do Friday concessions, and I said, sure. So I'm assuming maybe he got Thursday already booked, so I don't know if they still need help, but it'd be worth
We'll
looking
take
into
any
to
help.
see if they.
Typically we ask parents to help out, but because their kids are playing,
You're right,
All right, so reach out to
to Brian or
Brian or
whoever,
Maggie.
Mark, and see if they need any of those time slots
Yeah.
filled for whatever.
there's nothing better than volunteering.
Nothing.
So, I was sincere about that.
I am too. I am too.
Put that Terry's headstone.
So, okay. Anyways, with that, we'll turn it over to Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Let me see where else. Wanted to let council and public know, Joe Stewart, retired. His last day was last week, so I wanna give out a shout out to Joe. I didn't write down how many years he worked for it, but he worked for the city off and on for quite a while. And I, appreciate Joe and everything he did for the city. I wanna give some condolences to the Gabaldon family. Hobo passed away this last week. I think services are gonna be on July 8th, right, at 10. So,
At the Catholic Church.
Graveside.
it's just gonna be
Great.
great at this point. So,
At what time?
at 10, I believe. So, really sad to see somebody like that in the community go. Street crews, we've been working on 13th Avenue and 10th Avenue. We have plans for across the street on First, that curb and sidewalks buckled, so we gotta replace that. ADA radiuses on Hopi, we did that. We're starting to tear out Delaware to replace that. There's a big old sinkhole on that. And then we finished 6th Avenue by Florida, the curb and radius on that. We cleaned up all the recycling yard for the carbon utility. They do already have a container in there. They have some other minor equipment coming tomorrow. The big piece hasn't showed up yet, so that's gonna be part of July. But I've been working with Jay on trying to coordinate those efforts to get all that stuff up and running. I met with Sean and Sean met with Randy Murph. We're gonna replace some boards that aren't there at the Stagecoach, and we're gonna replace them with some Trex style lumber. But because that lumber's so flimsy, we're gonna try to rebuild it with some, reinforce it with metal. So we're getting Randy Murph to help us out with that. So Randy Murph is gonna weld us up, fabricate some stuff to help sturdy that, and hopefully that'll make it a longer, more durable, so it lasts longer. We won't have to replace the boards as much. We met with the Men's Association on the clubhouse ideas and repairs. We got those materials purchased today. Some of them I gotta go back and they wouldn't let me order it online, so I'm gonna have to go back and try to get some of the lumber and stuff like that. But we got a lot of lot of people happy out there right now, so I'd like to keep that going. We haven't really funded that since probably around 2008, 2010, when we had some major budget crunches, and that was one of the first places to cut, of course, was the golf course and parks and those kind of things. So now that we're kind of getting motivated to rebuild out there, I would like to keep that going as much as possible. So another big shout out to the Men's Association for their dedication and helping us out with some of that stuff. Men's Association is dedicating a new tee box on number 8 in the morning at 7 o'clock. So if you guys want, they've been rebuilding some of the tee boxes
Tomorrow or
and coming
Friday?
up with some ideas. Oh, Friday, it is Friday, sorry. I wanna give a shout out to everybody on the produce baskets again today. I know it was short notice, but, it was on, off, times were all different, but I think it worked out well, good turnout, so I appreciate all those volunteers. We are working pretty hard in the Parks Department to replace solenoids. We're having a lot that are sticking and the parks aren't watering right, but our main goal on those is to replace those as much as possible, get that watering good, and then we'll do an aeration and a seeding project in the fall. So one of our main concerns right now is Gillespie Park. It's looking pretty rough, so that's one of our main goals, is to get that watering, and then that we could do a seeding. We have a water audit coming up next week. We need volunteers to climb the water tower. All right, I'll teach you how to do it. Baby pool is getting repaired, so that should be, we did first patch of concrete this week. We should be able to do a plaster coat in the next couple days, and then a paint coat in the early part of next week. So hopefully at the end of next week, that the baby pool will be up and
Can I
running.
ask a question?
Uh,
Mrs.
Special.
Sullivan, 1 second, she has a quick, as long as it's a clarifying question.
On the pool. How is the attendance on Sundays? Do you have like any record of what the attendance has been since
I
we
haven't
opened on
really
Sundays?
looked, but I've gotten a lot of feedback saying that they like that it's open and they're appreciative.
All right,
That,
all right.
that's the only thing I have. I can look at the numbers.
They've been kind of tracking it, but I don't know what the rest
Yeah,
of the numbers are.
I'll get those numbers to you.
Okay, just out of curiosity, just since we opened it on Sundays, if.
I've heard only really positive things.
Yeah.
Me too.
From
They
families.
said, I wanna say it was Saturday that they closed early, cause there wasn't enough people that went in, and they closed at like 2. I'm not sure what day it was. It was just the other day, I don't wanna say Saturday or Sunday. But it just was that there was,
Not enough. Swim.
well, I guess it was said that there were pump issues,
Okay.
but there was only like 5 people there.
Yeah, so, alright, keep
All
back
right,
with your
thank you,
summary.
sorry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Special meeting, the way all of our rate increases are coming up, how we had to do the notice of intent to increase the rates and all that stuff. A meeting has to be done, 60 days, was it 60 days? It is 60. After that notice is published, so we're gonna have a special meeting on July 30th, and that will be just on rate increases. And those will have resolutions for each one of those as we discuss those, okay? We are continuing work on the drainage on West End. We're getting really close to that. A big shout out to Kenny Cargis, he's helped us out a ton over there, so. Airport apron is done, so we're working on closing out that grant, finishing up the final reimbursements, those kind of things. And that was a $2.5 million project, so if you guys go up there, it looks really nice. Fencing should start on up at Lizitsky to help auto walkers on a better backstop over there. it was supposed to start Friday, but it didn't get done, so it should be starting this week or next week. The the additional fencing for the baseball field, that should start on the week of the 7th. So, we're moving forward on that. And then, I had a meeting with, Mayor Smith, Amanda Orman from ASU Jet Center, Chris Pastors, and Jim, I can't remember his name, from BNSF. He's doing,
He used to be with BNSF, he's not anymore, he's just a
oh,
consultant.
he's a consultant,
Yeah.
he's the,
railroad
consultant
consultant.
on railroad spurs and those kind of things. So we met with him, to kind of go over some ideas so he could put a study together. So when we get that, it's not gonna be all inclusive, but it's gonna be a starting point for some ideas on what we could do with the railroad and how we can utilize that. And then, today we had a training, the Holbrook Fire Department, EMS and Native Air. We had a training on emergency scenarios if we ever have to involve a flight. So, kind of ideas of what we gotta look for on the ground when they call in and stuff like that. So that was a good productive meeting. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, so. All right, item number 11, submission of written petition for items not on the agenda.
There are none.
Item number 12, adjournment, I'll open the floor.
I make a motion to adjourn at 6:46.
Second.
All right, motion made, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Actually, it's 6:45, that one's fast. 45 minutes.
Okay then.
Well, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, that's right.
Sunday they close during Sunday.
So I guess they said that they just pumped one out, but they said that when they got there, there was just nobody, like, there was like nobody there, like, nobody is there. So I don't know if it's pump or lower temp.
They still gotta give it sometimes one more time. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what time it was. I think they said there was a group of, like, there was like 3 families that had went to go, and they said it was closed.
That's the